What we're going to do for our boats, these cardboard boats, the reason we're making them is to practice different types of welding. These boats, we will put them in actual water. We will race them, but we're not worried about designs or anything like that. You're going to follow a predetermined plan that we'll do a couple different types of welding joints, and we can talk about that as we go over the next couple of days. Step number one for building your boat is to locate our stencil sheet. What we'll do is we'll cut these shapes out of the paper using a scissors, and we'll use these to stencil the needed shapes onto our cardboard so we can have all of our parts to build the boat. So with a scissors, we're just going to cut along the black lines. Okay, so when you're done cutting out your shapes, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Of course, you're going to want to take your leftover paper, make sure that gets thrown in the recycle bin. What these pieces will be is this 4-inch piece will eventually be the 2 sides to your boat. This 3-inch piece will be some cross braces along with the backside. This piece will be the nose. And then we will turn the small piece into your paddles. So once you have those cut out, the next step is to track down some cardboard. We are going to trace those stencils onto the cardboard. Just before I get too far ahead, we do need to cut out this square. So a good tip is if I fold it in half and just start cutting along those lines. That'll loosen up those. So now when I trace my base of my boat, I can also trace that inside rectangle where our paddle will go. Now these pieces, since there's ×2, I'm going to trace it twice. Trace this one 3 times. This one we're going to trace twice. And finally, our paddle. We will trace twice. All right. So once you have your pieces traced onto the cardboard, probably not a bad idea. Put your name on each piece before you cut it out, just in case it falls on the floor or somebody else thinks it's theirs and walks away with it. Name, initials, special symbol, whatever you got is going to make sure it's yours. I have them all labeled. Now what we're going to use to cut them out is an X-Acto knife and a cutting mat. Make sure you're making all your cuts on top of the cutting mat. That way we're not cutting into any of the desks or the tables. Another thing about X-Acto knife safety is there's 24 of them in the block. There needs to be 24 of them in the block at the end of class before anybody leaves the classroom, because technically they are considered a weapon. If they're outside of the classroom, if you accidentally put them in your pencil bag, I would hate to have to sit down with a meeting with Mrs. Allgood or Mrs. Yale to explain to them that you're not actually carrying a weapon. It's just to make it easier on everybody. We're going to make sure we have a count before you leave. You always want to know that these are very sharp. They are a razor blade. And we always have that blade pointed down. You should never carry it with the blade pointed up or have it in any direction where you might accidentally cut yourself or somebody else. When we cut our shapes, I have my mat down. Since this cardboard is thicker, it might take a couple of passes, 2 or 3. You can move the cardboard as you need to get it in a good position for you. So once we have all of our pieces cut out, we are ready to start welding them together.